reporters today at the end of the NATO summit in D.C. as now 10 Democrats in Congress are saying publicly, more privately, that he is not capable of re-election.
This is the president's first solo press conference since last November. He's given fewer interviews and fewer press conferences than any of his immediate predecessors. Yesterday, the White House faced calls from Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, basically both indicating that what he's saying about his intention to remain in this race might not be the final answer. There are more and more reports of Democratic leadership sort of nudging the president toward the door and gently asking him to change his mind.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. The president's news conference is scheduled to start at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. The House could vote today on a resolution fining Attorney General Merrick Garland $10,000 a day until the Justice Department turns over audio of President Biden's special counsel interview last year. It was 3 million. Now 1.3 million homes and businesses are still without power in Texas, mostly in the Houston area, since Hurricane Beryl hit Monday. The utility company says a little more than half of those people should have power back by Sunday.
For the second day in a row, the heat index is hitting triple digits. It's been hard for the Melgar family to find a crew to help them get a tree off their fence and shed.
You got humidity. You have price gouging, you have things like that kind of happen, and there are people that do take advantage of vulnerable people or so.
CenterPoint, the energy company that handles power here in Houston, says there are 12,000 workers on the ground.
And that's Fox Weather's Katie Byrne. 2 coal miners are unaccounted for in Poland. At least 10 are injured, some not yet rescued after an earthquake while they were below the surface. There's a fire in the spire of a medieval cathedral in Rouen that's in northern France. That cathedral's been evacuated. America's listening to Fox News.
The doctor's office that mixed up your files has your Social Security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info and last 3 addresses. Your info is in endless places that could accidentally expose your info to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code CLAY at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Not enough support in the Republican-controlled House for it to happen, but articles of impeachment have been introduced against Supreme Court Justices Alito and Thomas.
Democratic Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says Thomas and Alito have taken gifts from wealthy people who had cases before the high court and didn't recuse themselves. She charges, among other things, Thomas got over $1.5 million in goods and travel from GOP donor Harlan Crow. She says Alito got a fishing trip and private jet ride from other donors. So she introduced impeachment articles on the House floor.
Reasonable Americans will and do believe that Justices Thomas and Alito are prone and subject to corruption.
Thomas said he always sought to comply with gift disclosure guidelines. Alito said he wasn't obligated to release details of his trip. In Washington, Jill Nato, Fox News.
The defense wraps up closing arguments at New Jersey Senate Democrat Bob Menendez's federal corruption trial.
Defense attorney Adam Fee says the prosecution failed to prove hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash and gold bars found in Senator Bob Menendez's home were taken as bribes, telling jurors in his closing argument they must acquit him and insisting Menendez's wife Nadine kept him in the dark about financial troubles. Prosecutors in their closing arguments urging the jury to follow a trail of text messages and emails. Menendez, the former chair of the Senate's Foreign Relations Committee, accused of taking bribes from 3 businessmen and the Egyptian government. He and 2 co-defendants have pled not guilty. A third pled guilty, testifying for the prosecution. Menendez's wife is also charged. Her trial was postponed. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Stock futures are down a bit ahead of a key inflation report coming out this hour. Team USA men's basketball beats Canada 86-72 in an exhibition game in Las Vegas before the Summer Olympics in Paris. Chicago White Sox closer Michael Kopech throws an immaculate inning, 9 pitches, 3 strikeouts. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News.
Here's Here's a look at local news. A student involved in the pro-Palestinian protest on University of Illinois campus earlier this year charged with mob action after U of I police used social media to identify her. 18-year-old Yafa Isa of Savoy was charged with one count of mob action. It's a class 4 felony. Demonstrators gathered to demand the U of I divest from companies involved with supplying weapons to Israel. Mother charged in a multi-vehicle crash last week on I-74 that took the life of her 8-year-old son. Stephanie Flores Ramirez faces 4 counts of aggravated DUI. That crash happened July 3rd between Bloomington and Downs. Raimundo Buccio Flores died later at the hospital. Champaign City Council in the process of drafting a new economic development manual. The current one went into effect in 2012 and ends this year. As part of the new manual, City Council looking at revising the redevelopment incentive program and implementing 3 small business assistance programs. You're up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Well, good morning. It's ESPN 93.5. I'm Stevie J. That's Diane Ducey.
Good morning, July 11th.
Yep, and Solye sent me the rain gauge totals, sir.
Yeah, 2 days worth, by the way. 48-hour total.
When did it rain last night? Where was I? Why was I not briefed? I didn't.
Whoa, were you sleeping already? Would you go to bed at 6 o'clock or something?
Like Neighborhood Nights they said, oh, this is too much rain. So I was going to come in from Sador's, and they said, just turn around and go home because we got a lot of rain here in Urbana.
Didn't get it in Champaign where I was.
Okay.
I was unaware. Anyway, okay, Mr. Great.
You had the big patio umbrella up, didn't you? Just over the whole house.
There you go.
I did not. All right, our weather brought to you by Carl.
Carl reminds you, keep your children ready for anything and at the top of their game. Schedule your school and sports physicals at a location near you by visiting carl.org.
Most everybody got around 4. Some are reporting higher totals, but boy, what a soaker for 48 hours, Mr. Meteorologist.
Yeah, then it was just that soaking rains, really, with Beryl and that popcorn stuff that got going yesterday afternoon, late afternoon, and in the evening hours added another 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch on some of the totals that are, generally speaking, 4.5 on the lower side. Some spots right around or even a hair above 6 inches. That's over a fur piece of east central Illinois and sections of western Indiana. And some shower activity already this morning, but well to the north, kind of right along the Reagan Toll Road and northward up towards the Wisconsin line. But that disturbance as well, settling to the south and east, may catch us here later on this afternoon and evening time. And Beryl is still going at it, by the way, in extratropical form and multi-inch rains this time in northern New England. And the showers and thunderstorms are generating some flooding of all places around that Mount Washington locale in northern New Hampshire. But back this way, reading over at Willard and Savoy now, 67 degrees, a little fog and haze in the air. Will turn it partly sunny as the morning wears on into the afternoon. A stray late morning shower, then a couple of clusters of showers and thunderstorms. They're slow moving, and we still have a pretty much a juiced up atmosphere top to bottom. So a downpour in a couple of spots, highs up to around 83. That stuff will peter out early on tonight down to 66. We'll do it again tomorrow, but lesser rain chances and coverages, and mainly in the afternoon with a high around 86. Another afternoon heating type thunderstorm on Saturday at 88. Here come the lower 90s Sunday, Monday. But by Tuesday afternoon, it's a cool front coming our way. We'll get a more scattered shower and thunderstorm business and then move temperatures back down with drier air into the low to mid 80s, more seasonal the second half of next week. For Steve J. Broadcasting, I'm Meteorologist Greg Soldier.
All right, thank you, sir. About everybody in Champaign-Urbana had about 4 inches. I know people reporting near 5. We've heard some of that. Philo gets 3.85, 3.74, 3.7. Biggest total was Urbana, 4.39 officially, but again, it's going to vary. Some are telling me 5 point something. That's a lot of rain. If you compute that from rain to snow, it's 10 inches every inch. So that would be like 40 inches of snow. So just compute and understand that we're wet, but at least it was a soaking kind of a thing. It wasn't a massive storm that knocked down trees, stuff like that. Well, GOP political strategist, former Republican candidate for U.S. Senate, New Jersey, former reporter, journalist, and newscaster, Alex Zidane. Alex, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Great to be with you this morning.
Nice to have you on. All right, so New Jersey, Republican, Senator, red, doesn't seem to go together except maybe this year? Maybe?
Maybe. We'll have to see what Bob Menendez does when he finishes polishing off his gold bars, whether he decides to really make an independent run and throw the whole thing into chaos. So hopefully we can turn this state red. I really hope so.
Well, I think it's probably more likely than it's ever been, perhaps. Okay, so the heaviness of the whole Joe Biden, I just laugh because I've been saying this for 2 years. You go to an assisted living home and you'd see a lot of Joe Bidens. I don't get it. So we were shielded, or were the media hiding it?
I think the media was complicit in this. I think that you've got to throw the lion's share of the blame on the White House, on President Biden's advisors, even on his family. They knew what was going on when they hid Joe Biden in the basement during the 2020 campaign. It wasn't just COVID. They knew he could barely construct 2 or 3 sentences and put them together. But I definitely think the media has a role to play in all of this, because anytime those concerns about President Biden's cognitive health were brought up, they were dismissed as talking points. They were dismissed out of hand. Clearly, we saw the person on the debate stage at the end of June, and the reporting and the statements of people that have come out over the past few weeks indicate that that's not a one-off event, that may be more often than not who Joe Biden is behind closed doors.
Well, they're propping him up. I mean, for years they've been talking. If you were a reporter asking these questions, you probably weren't going to get called on again. You didn't want to go there. Mm-hmm. But as Judd Hirsch said,
don't get me unprepared. You knew then, and you did nothing.
That's exactly right. That's
Independence
sums
Day.
it all. Mm-hmm. Sums it all up, Alex. I mean, it's just. But the amount of humans, the American citizens that must have been driving to soccer practice that were surprised, is what's really surprised me. I said, what's the story here? The guy's been like this for years.
Right. And he's an 81-year-old man. I mean, that's one thing that's not going to change.
Right.
And like all of us, I mean, I'm speaking only for myself, not, of course, for you. We're only getting older.
No, I get
by
it.
the minute, by the day.
I'm with you on that one. It's an inevitable human thing. We're aging. I look in the mirror and go, what the heck happened to you? In any event, I don't know what happens, though, because you kind of have to do Kamala Harris. They're a prisoner of their own DEI policy.
Well, I think that certainly President Biden's a prisoner of his own mind at this point in time. There's nothing that he can do to reverse it. And if you look at what's been happening over the past few weeks, you would think that ever since the debate, you would want to inspire as much confidence if you were in the White House to say, no, it's not true. Wouldn't you have the guy on talk shows? Wouldn't you have the president at a town hall? Wouldn't you have him running and jumping and going around and saying, look how fit and great I am? Yeah. They're not. They put him on the teleprompter and he can barely get through that. It's really not inspiring confidence for anybody.
Well, it's kind of a human thing. It's a sad thing. It's empathy. But I mean, you do have to pick Kamala Harris if it's not Joe, right? You can't leapfrog the woman of color, right?
That's what Democrats are saying. Obviously, we know that Democrats make rules only so they can rewrite them when it's convenient. So they could find a way to get around her. It would just be very difficult. And the question right now for Democrats is, do they want to lose? Or do they want to potentially have a very messy process to get Joe Biden out of the way? It's going to be their decision. And obviously, we're going to watch very closely the president's news conference later today, because that's going to be, I think, a moment where he can either flub this entire thing or maybe try and stick around, because it's very high stakes when he's going to be at that NATO news conference about 5:30 this afternoon.
Will they give him the same juice they gave him for the State of the Union, or do they let him fly solo? I mean, they've got to do something.
I would like that juice. I mean, give some of that to me.
Well, it was evident something happened at State of the Union, I think, and nothing happened at this last.
He hasn't had a press conference since November.
Yeah, no, he's not in practice too. So they know they're going to ask him for a cognitive test. They know they're going to ask him for MRI. I mean, they're going to. The question is, how?
There have been doctor visits.
Well, yeah, the guy that went to the White House working with somebody else, it's hard to buy that.
Okay.
In any event, I don't know how they're going to get the questions to him, because if they're all shouty, he won't hear a thing. And he'll smile. And they're going to have to go in order, and that means they go to friendly to non-friendly. And how many do they go deep? 5? I mean, they're not going to do 100. They're not going to do a Donald Trump, are they?
Right.
No. I think that would be something that President Trump would absolutely do. He would say, I'm going to stand up here until you reporters drop from asking me too many questions. You remember all of those lengthy press conferences he held when he was in the White House? I mean, they were epic, including his speeches, too. He can go on for 2-3 hours at a clip, but I think that you might see today that the question that should be asked of the reporters who are going to the White House news conference like those reporters on the radio over the weekend, did the White House give you your question?
Yeah.
Were you told what to ask, and did you tell the White House in advance what you were going to ask? I think we could get some very interesting answers if we asked those questions.
Alex Zidane, Z-D-A-N. How do they find you, Alex? How can people follow you?
So I'm actual Alex Z on the Twitter, the X, whatever we want to call it these days, and I'm Alex Zidane on Instagram. 3 N in Zidane on the Instagram handle because for whatever reason, Alex Zidane's such a popular name. 2 other guys have the Instagram handle.
You got to be kidding me.
Wow.
Nobody has the
I
last.
know.
Nobody's named out. Really?
Nobody.
Zidane? And they're not cousins? What the heck?
They
Alex,
might be.
Hey, listen, hope we can chat again someday. Thanks for your time this morning. Appreciate it very much. ESPN 93.5. We jump to our morning sports at 7:16. Diane Ducey.
Well, Kansas City beat St. Louis 8-5, then 6-4. Let's get your Redbird recap.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney, and it was a salute to Whitey Herzog, a tribute to his great life for the Hall of Fame manager last night. But the Cardinals dropped a doubleheader yesterday to the Royals, and Whitey managed both teams in his career. The Royals won 6-4, then took the nightcap 8-5.
A meaningful ceremony. Ozzie Smith did a great job, and the fans, I think, really enjoyed it. It was a good crowd for the night game, but unfortunately the Cardinals' bullpen didn't do a very good job, and the Royals took care of business with runners in scoring position.
The Royals got home runs from Melendez, Perez, and Isbell. That Isbell home run in the ninth inning made it a 3-run game and pretty much put the game out of reach.
And Michael Wacha picked up the victory. He started for Kansas City.
And Michael Wacha's 3-0 lifetime now against his old team. A day off today for the Cardinals. Sonny Gray will start tomorrow against the Cubs. We're on the air at 6:20. Ricky will have the lineups at 7:05, and Gray at 9-5 will throw the first pitch around 7:15. The Royals won yesterday's doubleheader at Busch Stadium.
The Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum is the official home of Cardinals history. For those who want to be a part of one of the sport's greatest collections in the world, museum membership is the way to go. Cardinals Museum membership provides unlimited admission for 1 year, exclusive Hall of Fame bobbleheads, discounts, ticket offers, and more, in addition to supporting exhibit design and artifact restoration. There are a variety of membership levels, including our ultimate level of membership. For more info and to join, go to cardinals.com/membership.
Cubs beat Baltimore 4-0. Let's get some highlights.
The 0-1 from Corbin Burns, hit in the air to center. Well hit, back goes Kowser to the wall. That ball is gone. Home run, Christopher Morel.
Yeah, how about that? They beat one of the best teams in baseball. Can they do it 3 in a row? I said that 2 days ago. I said, time for the Cubs to sweep Baltimore. Nobody's beaten Baltimore 3 in a row in Baltimore this year.
Except
Can the Cubs do it?
The Cinco Cubs are pulling it out.
Yep.
As heard on US 105.9, 5:35 start today with Justin Steele on the mound. And it looks like the Chicago White Sox Minnesota series was split.
Our weather brought to you by the Urbana Park District.
Reminding you, always great programs, and the pool is a terrific option. Yoga in the park on Saturday morning. Learn more at urbanaparks.org.
Fox Business Minute coming up in just a moment. This is Thursday. This is the 11th. What a great day to talk to John Decker, White House correspondent for Great Television. He'll be in the press conference. How will he get his question in? That'll be coming up.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign-Urbana this Saturday, and still these little weak disturbances. Plenty of low-level moisture and daytime heating, and still off to the races, as was the case yesterday with a couple of clusters of showers and thunderstorms, adding to some of these 2.5-day rain totals that are easily now in that 4 to almost 6-inch category. Plenty of wet grounds and standing water out there. We'll move into some heat and humidity briefly late in the weekend, early next week, before a push of cooler, drier air settles in from the north and west. Rain chance late this morning, more so this afternoon, bumped up to 40%, partly sunny, a little patchy fog and haze around early on this morning. 83 the expected high with light wind down tonight with an evening shower thunderstorm in a couple of spots to about 66 tomorrow, partly sunny in the afternoon, shower thunderstorm chance in the afternoon as well. Highs at 86, rubber stamp it for the day on Saturday, partly sunny, 88, rain chance there at 30%. Then heat and humidity Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, lower 90s by day, muggy 70s at night, cooler, drier air back into the 80s the second half of next week. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solier.
You've set your financial goals. One kid plans to go Big Ten, the other Ivy. Your bucket list includes seaside sunrises and sunsets on the slopes, or perhaps a second home away from it all. Busey Bank can help develop the right investment strategy to take charge of the years ahead. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini. Member FDIC.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Delta Airlines shares are slumping after its profit only matched Wall Street expectations. Though airports are busy and bookings for summer travel are strong, Delta has too many available seats and it's dealing with higher fuel costs. The airline plans to slow its capacity growth and it expects the domestic market to improve in coming months. Higher prices are cutting into PepsiCo's business. Its earnings came in better than expected, but its revenue was disappointing. It's seeing weaker sales in North America and was impacted by product recalls at Quaker Foods. PepsiCo is also being more cautious about its forecast. And Apple has settled concerns in the European Union about its Apple Pay app. The company will allow third-party mobile wallet and payment services to use its technology. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Posola, invested in you.
Kudlow on Fox Business is now on the go for podcast fans. Download the Kudlow Show podcast every weekday at foxbusinesspodcasts.com. Kudlow covers the latest headlines and business trends with an emphasis on the financial impact facing households and businesses across the country. Listen to interviews with key business newsmakers. The Kudlow podcast will be available on the go after the show every weekday at foxbusinesspodcasts.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
As Tapman's Towing celebrates 50 years of serving Central Illinois, we're always seeking good people to serve our great customers. Our team of expert tow professionals would like to interview others with CDLs, previous tow experience, or a strong interest in serving others. If you enjoy serving people, love working in the outdoors, and looking for a career, not just a job, we should talk soon. Do you have a strong desire but lack the experience? We should still talk. Visit our career page at tapmanstowing.com.
I'm Justin Ike, co-owner of Fred's Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning, Electric, and Underground.
So, Justin, tell me what you see as typical when it comes to sewer repair. Give me a scenario.
Your sewer's backed up and somebody comes along and says, you need this repair for X amount of dollars. Here's my price. And you don't think to go looking for another company or a second opinion because you don't feel like you have time.
So is it possible that you might get charged a little more because it's kind of a desperate moment? Do some companies do that?
Oh, absolutely they will. They know you're in a pinch. Typically, if you call us, me or Will can be out there within an hour to look at that problem for you. Whether you call me first or you call me second, make sure you give me a call.
Anything else, Justin?
You can always trust Fred's.
Great to know. Thank you. That's Justin Ike, the co-owner of Fred's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, Electric, and Underground. If you want more information about this great 45-year family-owned company, just go to fredscu.com. That's fredscu.com.
Ever wonder why you pay your bank to have a checking account? Fisher National Bank does too. You see, they offer free rewards cashback checking that gives you cash back on debit purchases, no service fees or balance requirements. Simply make 12 debit card purchases, receive electronic statements, and have one direct deposit in a monthly cycle. It's so simple. Reward yourself today with rewards cashback checking. Learn more at any branch or FisherNational.com. Fisher National Bank. Exceptional communities, exceptional people. Member FDIC.
I did not hear the rain. I don't know. I know it was isolated in some areas last night. It rocked our radio station a little bit here in Philo. I don't know if the power went out. I just don't know. I don't know how, because it's amazing how regional, even from township to township, the rain is.
I don't feel like Tolono, and I was in Sadorus last night. I don't feel like they were hit.
Yeah.
But you could see on the horizon, boy, it's dark over there.
Yeah, and my, recycling bags of yard waste that I don't get picked up in time before the bag melts and I have to rebag them. I hate that. I hate that.
Me too.
Anyway, I those are soaked this morning. And I said, when did it rain? There was a thunder, lightning? Saw a little lightning at midnight, I guess.
But Urbana's rain gauge over the past couple of days was
3.8, 4.2, something.
Yeah.
But I get West Champaign, I got reports of 5. And again, sometimes it's hard to know because area gauges. Did I empty that last time? I mean, you got that. So it's hard to know. I had 17 inches. Well, you didn't empty it for a year.
The National Weather Service is going to have it right. So, and Greg sent us those reports.
We had those, and pretty much
they empty theirs.
Right. 4.2 or 3 for Champaign-Urbana, and then everybody else is 3 point something all the way down. So we got hit pretty good here in central Illinois. And there are fields that are flooded.
Yes.
I don't know the damage, but I think the blessing was the soaking nature of it.
Right.
It wasn't these turbulent windstorms or break trees, branches stuff.
That's right.
All right, so it is Thursday morning. Did you know with Nathaniel's got an interesting item in about a half an hour that I had to think about for a while, so that's coming up. John Decker will tell me how he's going to get his question wedged into a melee. Keep in mind the press corps at 4:30 Central Time this afternoon have a real chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
If they've got to feign anger here.
We haven't done this
You've deceived
in a while.
us.
That's right.
Don't make me play Judd Hirsch another 100 times. You knew. Come on. That's just insulting to my intelligence that you didn't know how addled he is. It's just a lie. You had to know. I knew from Philo, Illinois.
How many memes of Weekend at Bernie's have I seen?
Just
with President Biden's face.
But it's just the guy is what he is. I'm not mad at him. I'm sad for him. I mean, he's an old man.
Agreed.
Some people are old at 81 and some aren't.
Right.
It just depends on your genes and DNA and all the stuff that goes into aging, but he can't be president. So, I mean, I hope they run him because I think Donald Trump will win, and I think Donald Trump will win by a lot. And it's not just because of that. It's because nothing else on my radar is going well. The pricing of everything is crazy. The border is open. Crime is running amok. If we're talking about killings in Chicago as a thing, which has been going on for a decade.
Right.
There's just a lot of problems, and there are a lot of people unhappy with the direction of the country. 60 or 70%. We're in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And do you
just go to the grocery store and get a tank of gas?
Well, they're telling you that the economy is really good. And that might be true on the large-scale numbers that they use to figure that barometer.
Well, we have to pay it, and the prices are higher, so the economy keeps going.
Well, the stock market is wonderful. That's due for a major correction, by the way. Sorry, it's just natural. Anyway, it's just prices are high. You feel it every day. The credit cards, you're getting pounded. The credit card companies are so nice, they're charging you 30% in some cases. 30% interest? You'll never dig out of that.
I know that.
It's really hard, so I don't think it's just his age. It's everything else. You're just not pleased. How were you? It's like Ronald Reagan said, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? And the answer is no.
Right.
We're not. We're worse off. And so we'll see, but this just adds to everything. And if they do move him out and they somehow leapfrog Kamala Harris, then it will be the likes of a J.B. Pritzker. Why J.B. Pritzker? Because he's got money.
Yeah.
And you won't be able to access that money that they have.
That's right.
I don't know what happens to it. There are rules and laws, I suppose, but there's hundreds of millions of dollars that Joe Biden controls along with his 3,900 delegates. Well, can the delegates get off the island? Can they vote? Yeah, they can. They could say, I'm not voting for Joe Biden, but that's Joe Biden. Those are Joe Biden's people. And so it'd be unlikely that they would completely desert him. We'll see what happens. But for everybody to just, do what they should have done 2 years ago and to pretend you're surprised. When George Clooney and Julia Roberts have this massive hundreds of millions of dollar fundraiser, tens of millions, whatever it was, and then this, oh my gosh, we didn't know. Is it
right?
And then for the White House, they have to cover. Yeah, they're probably acting. And then for the White House, they have to cover for Barack Obama to grab Joe's shoulder and help him off the stage.
I was wondering, where is Obama Nation on all this stuff?
Well, he thinks Joe should go, I'm sure. But, you got to understand what you're saying, because if you have some prominent Democrats that are sticking with Joe Biden, you got a really split party. They're already in a mess. But now you're really going to be split on fragmented everywhere because you're mad about that. We're mad about this. And so could they dig it out and figure it out at the convention? I suppose. Remember how turbulent, nobody remembers it, but 1968 was a very turbulent convention in Chicago. Back with the anti-war, Vietnam protests, burn your draft cards, all these things are going on. And so here we are in 1968 to 2024. They're back in Chicago on what could be a very turbulent time. They're gonna take all the protesters, everybody else there, move them a million miles away. I don't think you'll see anything on camera because that's what they're planning. John Decker is next.
As Tapman's Towing celebrates 50 years of serving Central Illinois, we're always seeking good people to serve our great customers. Our team of expert tow professionals would like to interview others with CDLs, previous tow experience, or a strong interest in serving others. If you enjoy serving people, love working in the outdoors, and looking for a career, not just a job, we should talk soon. Do you have a strong desire but lack the experience? we should still talk. Visit our career page at tapmanstowing.com.
When it comes to finding a reliable vehicle, look no further than Sarah Champagne, your trusted automotive destination. They carry a lineup of top brands, including Honda, BMW, Subaru, GMC, and Buick. And they're not just about cars, they're about people. Their team is dedicated to providing you with trustworthy service and dependable vehicles that fit your lifestyle. Experience the difference at Sarah Champagne. Visit Sarah, S-E-R-R-A, champagne.com.
Fox News, I'm CJ Papa. President Biden delivers his first solo news conference since last November.
He's given fewer interviews and fewer press conferences than any of his immediate predecessors.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich of the White House set for 5:30 p.m. Eastern. 10 members of Congress, including the first senator, Vermont Democrat Peter Welch, want the president to leave the race, while Michigan's Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer wants the president to take a cognitive test. The inherent contempt vote in the House today would penalize U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland, fining him $10,000 a day for not handing over audio tapes of President Biden's interview with special counsel Robert Hur in his classified documents case. The Archbishop of the Rouen Cathedral in Normandy, France, reports workers at the medieval cathedral are safe after the 495-foot spire caught fire. America's listening to Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. Illinois State Police are investigating after a Freeport woman died under police custody. Officers called to the Mary Hosmer Apartments in Freeport and found Bernice McNair kicking in an apartment door on the third floor. McNair ran from officers and appeared to be under the influence of narcotic. She was taken to the hospital where she died. There's a new leader of the Gies College of Business at the University of Illinois. W. Brooke Elliott's been selected as dean. Her appointment begins August 16, pending approval by the U of I Board of Trustees. Elliott currently serves as Executive Associate Dean of Academic Programs at Gies, has been a member of the Illinois faculty for over 20 years. Mother charged in a multi-vehicle crash last week on I-74 that took the life of her 8-year-old son. Stephanie Flores Ramirez faces 4 counts of aggravated DUI. It happened July 3rd on I-74 between Bloomington and Downs. Raymundo Muccio Flores died later at the hospital. You're up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Jim, our weather this morning brought to you by State Farm Insurance and Kurt Lenschow. Like a good neighbor, Kurt Lenschow and State Farm are there.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Central Illinois, Champaign and vicinity. Things playing out as expected yesterday. A couple of late afternoon and evening scattered showers, thunderstorms, adding to the wet grounds and overtly wet grounds in some areas of East Central Illinois. Looks like we'll continue on with this hit and miss prospect over the next couple of days, build into heat and humidity over the course of the weekend, early next week, before a push of cooler, drier air settles in mid next week. Rain chance bumped up to 40% late morning and this afternoon in particular. Partly sunny skies, a little fog patch around early on this morning. Highs to 83, a lingering shower thunderstorm early on tonight down to 66, and a smaller chance for shower thunderstorm late morning and late afternoon tomorrow. Partly to mostly sunny at 86. More humidity, maybe a thunderstorm Saturday afternoon. Highs up to 88. Hot, humid weather for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday with lower 90s by day, low to mid 70s at night. Maybe a thunderstorm late Tuesday into Wednesday. We see temperatures settling back into the lower 80s with drier air settling on into the second half of next week as well. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting Epidologist, Greg Solgay.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Thursday. John Decker. John Decker. John Decker. I want to talk to John Decker. He is the one we know. I want to talk to John Decker. He's at the White House in press room.
John Decker, John Decker, I want to talk to John Decker, John Decker, I want to talk to John Decker.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is the White House correspondent for Gray Television. His name is John Decker. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm great, Stevie. I'm having a better week than the president is, that's for sure. I know you are as well. And a very consequential press conference on tap for the president this afternoon. I'll be there. Hopefully I get a question, but it has been quite an interesting week here in Washington, D.C.
How are they going to do that, John? Because everybody's going to be yelling, and the president won't hear it. He'll smile. They have to have the order. Will they do what they normally do and say PBS, AP? I mean, how do they... It's going to have some order to it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I think what you're going to see, and what I think will be likely, is the president will make a statement at the very top of this press conference focusing on the success of the NATO summit, which has taken place here in Washington the past 3 days, and it has been successful. And then after he makes that statement, he will have a list of individuals that can ask questions of the president. So it will be orderly. Hopefully I am on that list. I've certainly made that request to the White House press secretary. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it's not just, as you point out, the usual suspects in terms of who it is that he calls upon to ask questions of him at this press conference.
Okay, this is important, isn't it?
It's so important. Oh, my gosh. If he hits it out of the park, then all of that talk about replacing Joe Biden, having him bow out of the presidential race, it all goes away. But the alternative is, what happens if it's a performance like we saw exactly 2 weeks ago at that presidential debate? Then the floodgates open, Stevie, and you're going to see some very prominent Democrats like former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, the majority leader in the Senate, calling on the president to step aside, to make way for someone else who they believe would have a better chance of beating Donald Trump in the fall.
Okay. All right. So today he knows it. Why don't they do whatever they did for State of the Union and give him that pill? Because that's when he had that energy. Because whatever they do, 5-hour energy, chug it. They've got this is a big day for his presidency.
It's a huge day, but so was the debate 2 weeks ago. And, you saw him figuratively fall flat on his face, as it relates to his performance against former President Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So he had a good day yesterday. I was with the president all day yesterday for all of the events that he had, including in the Oval Office when he met with the new British Prime Minister, including a dinner that he hosted for all of our NATO allies. And he looked good. He sounded good. His voice was strong. We'll see what happens today. Today's different than, what you described with the State of the Union address. There you're reading from teleprompter. Here it's thinking on your feet. And it's a whole different ball of wax, as we saw with the presidential debate 2 weeks ago.
About a year ago, didn't you ask Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House press secretary, if they were covering for Joe Biden?
I did. I did ask that question. I asked that question. You think about all the things that are coming out this week. It's as if the rest of the White House press corps is catching up to me, because I asked that question that you're referencing in April of last year. I said, are you trying to protect the president? And she said, absolutely not. That's an answer that she gives definitively when she was asked that question. Earlier this week about whether or not the president's bowing out of that race, she said the same thing, absolutely not. But what we've seen is, some Democrats who are elected, some donors to the Democratic Party, they are publicly saying that the president ought to bow out of the presidential race.
All right,
and then because you asked the question, you didn't get a question for like 6 months, huh, John?
No, it wasn't like that. No, I know Stevie saw the clip of what I asked and how I asked. Very respectful, and I asked the question. I went there. In other words, maybe my colleagues were thinking that, but I asked the question. I said it. I'm not afraid, so to speak. I asked the question that you would ask if you were in the briefing room. That's what I'm always thinking about. I'm thinking about eliciting information and providing information to the public. I'm not out to draw attention to myself. You know that. I'm just all about providing the best information to the public when I do my job.
But the press seems to be angered by the cover-up. John, you're in the room. You guys had a hint. You asked a question nobody else would ask, but they all knew. I mean, I can't. I don't know where my brain goes from time to time, and I don't think anybody wants to know sometimes.
On this Independence Day here.
I just can't. I can't. This is my only. Why would I think of a 1995 movie when I hear all this talk?
Don't get me unprepared. You knew then, and you did nothing.
That's exactly right. You knew. Everybody knew this. I don't get it. I can't believe. I guess the public who have 3 kids running around with 9 events, maybe they're not as tuned in as we are. But this was. I mentioned this a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I said he's not going to be the nominee because he can't. And I said, if you go to assisted living, you'll see a lot of Joe Bidens. That's true. It's not mean. It's just life. But I just, for all these people now to say, oh, you knew all about it. Don't give me that. That's so disingenuous. You blocked your primary. You didn't let RFK have a word in edgewise. And this is what you're left with.
Well, when you do that, you create a situation where there's even more increased scrutiny on the president. So if you don't have solo press conferences, or rarely have them, in fact, the last one in Washington, D.C., the last solo press conference in Washington, D.C., and I was there, was in November of 2022. His last solo press conference in the United States was in San Francisco after he met with President Xi of China, and I was there for that one as well. So he's having one in 2024. Look, that's something where it just doesn't seem right. And now we're going to have one today, and there's increased scrutiny, and rightly so, because the president doesn't have these types of events all that often.
Well, Donald Trump would stand there for an hour, leaving the West Wing. I mean, he would just talk to you for way too long, and the helicopters there and everything else. But he's had a lot of practice doing this stuff.
He has, but so has Joe Biden. Joe Biden served in the U.S. Senate for 30-plus years. He served as vice president for 8 years. It's not like he's a rookie. This is a guy that's been on the public stage for his entire adult life, elected to the U.S. Senate at the age of 29. This is a person that's been around, and certainly, you compare Donald Trump and his ability to answer questions to Joe Biden. Joe Biden has had a similar type of experience as a public figure.
He just hasn't had the practice because of his condition. He just doesn't do it much anymore. That's one thing.
He doesn't do these much anymore. No. Yesterday, I spent the whole day with the president, including a bilateral meeting that he had with the new British Prime Minister Starmer. That was in the Oval Office. Took no questions. He had events yesterday associated with the NATO summit. Did not take any questions. A dinner that he hosted with his NATO allied leaders in the East Room at the White House. Did not take any questions. But today he will. And so I'm hopeful that I'm one of those people that get to question the president. But if I'm not, I'm hopeful that my White House press colleagues, ask the questions that I'd ask, or you'd ask, or anybody else that would be in that room would ask.
I think the best chance of that happening is actually now, because they are got to show, well, I'm a journalist. I think they might come after him pretty hard. Diane has a text.
I do. It says, can I get a comment from John Decker? The definition of insanity in TDS is Washington elites and the Democrats running a candidate who is sympathetic elderly man with a poor memory who will be 86 in January of 2029. So, in parentheses, he won't be charged. To total cover-up Biden is disgusting.
Okay, I don't know how to respond. It's a question, but it's a comment, and I respect all comments.
Yeah.
But look, I think that as it relates to the White House press corps, let me give you one example. And I know I must have spoken about this on your show, Stevie, when we speak. The last April, there was an event. It was Bring Your Child to Work Day. That happens all across America. Well, it happened at the White House. The president has an event on the South Lawn, and wouldn't you know it, he takes questions from little cute kids, asking him various questions. One child asked the president the question, what was the last country you visited, Mr. President?
Uh-oh.
And he said he couldn't remember, and it was just 2 weeks prior to this event that I'm describing that he was in Ireland. And I remember after that event concluded, we were all looking at each other like, what just happened? And very few reporters that you would know by watching them on television mention this episode. I spoke about it quite a bit on the air, but that's an example where you need to do your job. You need to report these things. They're not one-offs. It's not an aberration. There are many examples of the one that I just cited that I've seen with President Biden over the course of the past few years.
John Decker, great television's White House correspondent, national correspondent, Tapman's Toying phone line, ESPN 93.5. All right, so let's just say he doesn't hold up to this, and they do say, Joe's going to... Why would I think he could be president if he can't run? There's that. Would he walk away from the presidency? Yeah, that's tough. Gosh, the fact is, if you read the letter that he wrote to his fellow Democrats, which came out on Monday, he expressed in that letter exactly what he's feeling, and you can understand the difficulty of walking away. The primary process, he got 87% of the votes.
14 million Democrats voted for Joe Biden. And how do you just walk away from that? To say, you know what, I earned the nomination, I did, but now I'm going to give the nomination away. That doesn't sound rational, but he's facing a lot of pressure right now because a lot of Democrats, whether they're saying so publicly or not, are very nervous. They're nervous about the prospect of Joe Biden being unable to beat Donald Trump in November.
And frankly, isn't it because they might lose too, the down ballots and all the congressional?
That's right.
I mean, they're gonna get beat pretty badly right now as it stands this morning.
That's right. That's the reason why Nancy Pelosi, the former House Speaker, was non-committal, not a ringing endorsement for President Biden when she was asked a question yesterday, because she, even though she's a former House Speaker, she wants Democrats to retake control of the House. And it makes it that much more difficult if the person at the top of the ticket is not someone who's the strongest candidate potentially that Democrats could put forward. Now, I don't know what Plan B is. If Joe Biden bows out, is it Kamala Harris? Can Kamala Harris beat Donald Trump? I'd have to go through the Electoral College map to figure that answer out. But that's something Democrats have to figure out as well. If that's their Plan B, is that a good Plan B?
But they can't leapfrog her, can they? I mean, it's DEI time, man. No matter what. I mean, she's next, I think.
Well, regardless of her background, she's vice president, and she is next in line. And so, to me, there would be a coalescing around Kamala Harris if Joe Biden stepped away, and it makes it that much easier, by the way, to transfer all of those campaign funds to Kamala Harris if she's the nominee than if it's someone else. She's part of the ticket, so it's just a matter of signing your name essentially if you're Joe Biden on a paper, and she gets these hundreds of millions of dollars to spend on this race against Donald Trump.
So I was just on an article that said if Kamala decides to step down and Obama were to step up, what would that look like? And then there was...
Which Obama?
It can't be Michelle. It can't be Brock.
Yeah.
Brock's ineligible.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Brock's not ineligible.
If he came by passageway of vice president,
then you got to have the next guy. They'd have to leapfrog him to the Speaker of the House. I don't think they'd allow that constitutionally.
Well, there was an article about that theory. Anyway,
Barack Obama going to be vice president? Tell me when HE double toothpicks freezes over, he's not going to be VP for anybody, man. Michelle,
He likes his life right now. He loves his life right now. You know where he was yesterday? He was watching the Dream Team out in Las Vegas.
50th anniversary.
He loves it.
Well, he's
happy
doing great.
Doing
and
right
Michelle Obama wants nothing to do with this stuff. I mean, that's
right. She
doesn't want it. So I guess it's J.B. Pritzker would be a good candidate because he's got $6 billion to play with, and they need money if they can't access the. It's going to be Kamala Harris. It has to be because of the. Woman of color, I mean, she is VP, but I think in a closed door thing, the Democrats said she can't beat him. I mean, Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer. I mean, they've got the names out. Anyway, it's a big mess. John Decker is going to be at the press conference today.
Yes.
I will be looking for him. So here's my concept of how you get a question.
Okay.
Yeah, tell me.
Remember the movie Titanic? You remember that?
Yeah.
Melee. I have a child. Grab a child and run to the lifeboat.
Please, I have a child.
I have a child. They let that guy on because he has a child. So it's like you can't go. And then if you're holding a child or a baby, nobody won't. They'll let you through.
You'll get the question then.
And then say, whoo, and you wipe your forehead and just child is on. And then you ask, I'm not sure you'll have a job tomorrow, but it would be so clever.
Oh my goodness,
it'd be so
Steve.
clever.
Yeah, that is clever.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
That's all I got for you
thought
today.
of that?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's impressive.
Even looked up the clip for that.
I
there,
did
John.
indeed.
Yeah.
I have a child. It's you're watching history. You got front row seats. Got your pictures yesterday in the Oval. All these things that just. And you don't. The thing about John Decker, he doesn't just take this for granted. He is an appreciative man. He knows what he's doing, and it's just nice to see. There's no casualness to your work. You're after it every day, which is pretty cool.
Well, thanks, Stevie. Yeah, I don't take that for granted. And yesterday was a remarkable day. Being in the Oval Office with the new British Prime Minister, and they got along very well, by the way. Talking about England's win over Netherlands in the Euro 2024. So they had a good relationship. But, yeah, it's always just so cool. You're in the Oval Office, and there's the president. And regardless of who the president is, it's a huge thrill for me. Always will be.
Have you had a chance to check out Wimbledon at all with all this action?
Yeah, well, yesterday was tough to do that. I was watching. It was easier. It was easier to watch some Euro 2024 than it was Wimbledon, just with my schedule yesterday. But I am paying attention, and Carlos Alcaraz is he's set perhaps to defend his title. We'll see what happens.
He's really good.
And of course, Novak Djokovic is there, perhaps to add to his record number of Grand Slams. So it's going to be a good Wimbledon, I think, this coming weekend.
Okay. Good luck with the melee today. Hope you get a question. They should ask you a question. Good luck to you. John Decker,
Thanks,
wish great television would have a presence in our town. Then we'd see all the time on the TV. But we just have to hear you.
I'll mention it, Stevie.
Yeah, tell them.
I'll mention it. Yeah. That's right. Hey, Stevie, next week I will speak with you from Milwaukee. I'll be at the Republican National Convention, so we'll have lots to talk about because when I speak with you Thursday next week, we will know who Donald Trump's running mate is, so we can talk all about that and other things that are happening in the news for sure.
It's Burgum, Tim Scott, Marco Rubio, or J.D. Vance, right? One of those four, I think. I don't know.
We'll see. I don't think it's one of those four, but
you don't think it's one of those four, huh?
I don't. I like to be a little different. You know, I've told you. So I like to think it's going to be someone like Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the governor from Arkansas.
Wow.
Or here's going to give you a wow. Or Ivanka Trump as the running mate. So we'll see what happens.
I don't think they can pull family off on this one. I don't think so.
I have heard the family card before.
I think anything's possible.
Yeah, I know. John Decker, keep up your great work, sir. Good luck today.
Thanks, Stevie. Thanks, Diane. Bye-bye.
All right, talk to you soon. John Decker, Great Television's national correspondent.
Press conference right around 4:30.
4:30 Central Time. All right, weather brought to you by Kramer Siding and Window.
Your premier provider for home improvement specializing in siding, windows, doors, roofing, and outdoor living. Visit kramersiding.com.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Central Illinois, Champaign, and Banana vicinity. Things playing out as expected yesterday. A couple of late afternoon and evening scattered showers and thunderstorms, adding to the wet grounds and overtly wet grounds in some areas of the Central Illinois. Looks like we'll continue on with this hit and miss prospect over the next couple of days, build into heat and humidity over the course of the weekend, early next week, before a push of cooler, drier air settles in mid next week. Rain chance bumped up to 40% late morning and this afternoon in particular. Partly sunny skies, a little fog patch around early on this morning. Highs to 83, a lingering shower thunderstorm early on tonight down to 66, and a smaller chance for shower thunderstorm late morning and late afternoon tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny at 86. More humidity, maybe a thunderstorm Saturday afternoon. Highs up to 88. Hot, humid weather for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday with lower 90s by day, low to mid 70s at night. Maybe a thunderstorm late Tuesday into Wednesday. We see temperatures settling back into the lower 80s with drier air settling on into the second half of next week as well. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting Meteorologist Greg Solgay.
Well, on Thursdays, we call my son in Chicago, and I say Nathaniel's son because that tells you who he is, and we do a feature called Did You Know? Nathaniel's son from the Windy City, home of the Democratic National Convention. That's a little bit of ways from where you're living, though, right?
Well, it is, but I was downtown yesterday, and I'm seeing billboards and signs and looking for volunteers, and I think I saw something that they actually already have something like 12,000 volunteers signed up. So hard to tell how big of an impact it's going to have. I'm sure it'll be something, but mostly downtown.
It's Nathaniel's son with Did You Know? What's on the docket today, my son?
Well, yeah, this morning we get to the chance to discuss a fascinating component of our planet. Now, as all of us hopefully know, our planet is, in fact, a sphere, and the circumference at the equator is about 25,000 miles. But did you know that due to the curvature of the Earth, when you see an object a mile away, it's actually about 8 inches lower than your line of sight? So let's look at it this way. Imagine if we took a laser pointer, and let's say we held it at 6 feet in the air, and we aimed it perfectly horizontally. At 1 mile away, that laser would not be 6 feet off the ground, but rather 6 foot 8 inches off the ground, because the Earth is curving. Now, this was originally determined by sailors when they were in open water engaging an enemy ship. It would give them a way to determine approximately how far away the ship was. based on how much of it had, quote-unquote, sunk below the horizon. Now, there's many more specific mathematical and geometric formulas that people can use to determine this exactly, but next time you see something in the distance that's sinking on the horizon, your view's actually partially blocked because of the Earth's curvature.
That's crazy that we would actually realize that just a mile or two away. Right. I mean, you go up to the tippy tops of the atmosphere in an airplane, you can kind of, the space shuttle and all these people and the astronauts, test pilots, they can actually see it.
Yeah.
The Concorde, you could see the curvature of the Earth if you're 60,000 feet up.
You had a chance to ride that.
Yeah, and I saw the curvature. It was like a absolute bend. That's how high we were.
Well, Nathaniel, did you see that the sailors did this back in the day on the wide open waters? Wow.
And it's honestly, it's pretty ingenious of them. And the fact that they knew to use the curvature of a sphere to determine, okay, that ship's about 7 miles out. And you think about it, too. I mean, for us anymore, we drive 100 miles. That's not that big of a deal. But you think of how much of the Earth's surface you actually go over. It's pretty amazing to think about.
Yeah, never, ever thought of that. If I have a laser, I point it, get a surveyor's thing a mile away, it'll be 6, 8, not 6 feet. Crazy. And I'll be on a walkie-talkie saying, is it true? Is it 8 inches? Okay, check. Nathaniel Son, did you know? Great stuff. Thank you so much.
All right, guys.
Talk new next week. Thanks so much. That's Nathaniel Son in Chicago.
When I'm out and about, this segment comes up a lot. People like Nathaniel on Thursdays around 7:50.
And if you want to sponsor this show, you could be the sole sponsor of Did You Know?
Yeah, just text Nathaniel and we'll get in touch with you.
No, text you.
Well, I mean, text the word Nathaniel to 359-2255.
And you could be the sponsor of the program. No, I think he comes up with great stuff. And
he does. He's so well read. He really should be a professor.
Well, he reads a lot. Mm-hmm. I mean, the people, by the way, anecdotally, that do great on the ACT or SAT read. Mm-hmm. They read books. Mm-hmm. If you read books, you're going to be smarter. That's just how it works.
Yeah, not so much over here.
It's just how it works. Anyway, he's a well-read guy, and he just picks up a lot of stuff. And he's going to have a book someday on Did You Know? Because all these weeks he's keeping files of them.
I love it.
It's a great little thing. It's interesting. And I don't know where he comes up with it, but I call him. He talks. That's how much I help him.
I love it.
It is 7:57. The news will be coming up. You're always welcome to text us on the Fisher National Bank text line. That's 217-359-2255. Text in anything you've heard about, any thoughts you have on President Joe Biden or anything else. How's our Champaign School Board doing? I have to get some information on how they're able, if or not, to function now that Sam Banks has jumped on.
Oh, yeah.
A guy we know pretty well.
I see the curvature of the Earth also affects television reception if you're using an outdoor antenna. Just saying. Yeah. It says EZ.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's something called Philo TV now. It's like a Fubo, or you can get a bunch of channels.
Is it PHILO?
PHILO.TV, and you can subscribe and get a bunch of channels. Don't think that's an accident.
Wow.
That's why we're the center of the universe.
Center of the universe,
people.
baby.
Okay, we're back after the news at the top of this hour. It is 7:58.
Norm Miller here, chairman of Interstate Batteries. Without batteries, life would be pretty lifeless. That's why Interstate All Battery Centers carry them in every size, shape, and style, so you can drive, drill, call, film, or do whatever it is you want to do. Stop in today. They've got the power to keep you going. Interstate All Battery Center. Outrageously dependable.
Interstate All Battery Center. You'll find them outrageously dependable just over Interstate 74 at 2504 North Mattis Avenue in Champaign, with batteries for most every application in stock.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
PDR Automotive has now been serving the Champaign-Urbana area for over 50 years. To give you some perspective, 50 years ago ended the U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War, and it was when Secretariat won the Triple Crown. So what does that mean for you and your vehicle? Whether you need a carburetor overhauled or your new vehicle computer system diagnosed or programmed, PDR Automotive has the experienced, knowledgeable staff that can handle all your automotive needs. Online at pdrauto.com, they are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR. You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Lower prices. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. Another sign inflation's cooling off. The Labor Department's Consumer Price Index is 0.1% lower in June. Most economists were expecting a small increase in consumer prices.
For the year ending in June, the CPI rose 3%. Energy prices declined in June, though food prices rose slightly. Core CPI, excluding food and energy, rose less than expected, 0.1%, up 3.3% on an annual basis.
Fox's Ginny Casola. President Biden takes questions from reporters at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, and people will be looking to see if he does any better than he did at that weak debate performance.
President Biden took 3 daggers yesterday. Nancy Pelosi seeming to reject his final answer that he is remaining in the race. Chuck Schumer reportedly signaling to donors that he is open to dumping Biden at the top of the ticket. And that George Clooney op-ed calling for Biden to drop out, saying the same Joe Biden that we all watched in that 90-minute debate performance was the same guy that he was dealing with at a fundraiser a couple weeks earlier, faltering in his old age. Politico reported this morning that Clooney actually gave former President Obama a heads up on what he was going to write, and that Obama did not object to it.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich. The president's news conference is at the end of the NATO summit in D.C. China's government's telling NATO to stay out of its business.
This strongly worded response came after NATO labeled China a decisive enabler of Russia's war against Ukraine. Beijing is close to Russia and claims to be neutral on the war.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Israel's military is telling civilians to leave Gaza City and head south as military operations against Hamas there intensify. Over the last couple of weeks, Israeli forces have re-entered parts of the city where they believe Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad fighters have regrouped. America's listening to Fox News.
The doctor's office that mixed up your files has your Social Security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info and last 3 addresses. Your info is in endless places that could accidentally expose your info to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code CLAY at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
There could be a vote in the House today on a resolution finding Attorney General Merrick Garland, fining him, that is, $10,000 a day for not turning over audio of President Biden's interview last year with the special counsel investigating mishandled classified documents. The report describing the president unflatteringly.
He was an old man who is feeble and doesn't have a strong memory.
Yeah.
This is really important for Congress to review.
House Speaker Mike Johnson on Fox Business. Transcripts of the interview are available, and Democrats say the audio would be used out of context against the president politically. It's been a record 5 straight days of at least 115-degree weather in Las Vegas, with at least a couple more in the forecast.
A rep for the National Weather Service calls this the most extreme heat wave in the history of record keeping in Las Vegas since 1937. More than 142 million people across the U.S. are under heat alerts, many out west, where the duration of the heat has been a major concern. A motorcyclist in California's Death Valley dying from heat exposure earlier this week, where temperatures soared to 128 degrees. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
A Texas detective is killed in the line of duty. There's a manhunt for the killer.
The Harris County detective was shot and killed Wednesday night while pursuing a person who had pistol whipped a worker at a pizza store in Houston. Harris County Sheriff's Department Chief Deputy Mike Lee says the detective was, quote, ambushed after tracking down the suspect's vehicle.
Other detectives in the area went to his location, and at that time they saw his undercover vehicle with multiple gun strikes in it.
They rushed him to a nearby hospital where he died. Lee says the detective was a member of the elite violent persons task force.
And he was very good at his job, very well thought of.
The detective was 28 years old and had been with the Sheriff's Department for 5 years. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Stocks look to be starting the day basically flat after this morning's report showing cooler inflation. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. There's a new leader of the Gies College of Business at the University of Illinois. W. Brooke Elliott's been selected as dean. Her appointment begins August 16, pending approval by the U of I Board of Trustees. Elliott currently serves as Executive Associate Dean of Academic Programs at Gies and has been a member of the Illinois faculty for over 20 years. Mother charged in a multi-vehicle crash last week on I-74 that took the life of her 8-year-old son. Stephanie Flores Ramirez faces 4 counts of aggravated DUI. It happened July 3rd on I-74 between Bloomington and Downs. Raimundo Buccio Flores died later at the hospital. Illinois State Police are investigating after a Freeport woman died under police custody. Officers called to the Mary Hosmer Apartments in Freeport and found Bernice McNair kicking in an apartment door on the 3rd floor. McNair ran from officers and appeared to be under the influence of narcotic. She was taken to the hospital where she died. You're up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Joe Miller.
All right, I have rain totals from the last 48-hour precipitation reports in Illinois. Mr. Soyer has sent us, and it looks like, am I correct in saying that Champaign-Urbana was hit about as hard as anybody?
Yeah, I think we kind of led the pack at a number of locales that were at or even a hair above 6 inches, I believe.
I got Muhammad at just barely over 3. Some parts of Muhammad 2.7, but Champaign-Urbana was into the 4s, so that's pretty
4,
good rain.
5, almost 6. Yeah. I'm sure you can still probably see it from the rural route or low drainage, poorly drained areas. I'm sure some of that's still going on.
On Staley, I saw some flooded bean fields. So you can see that pretty easily. So, but again, it could have come down in an hour, and that would have been a mess and had some damage and stuff. But might be able to survive something like this. But you have more coming, huh? You had a little more action.
You know, last night we had another quarter to as much as 3/4 of an inch. That added to that 2-day rain total. And these little weak disturbances is the eastern flank, what we call the hot ridge, the capped atmosphere that has sent the past couple of days readings up past 100 as far north as Montana. Interior Washington State, there's a slight nudge to the east and south now that we have Beryl out of the way here. Still raining, by the way, from Beryl up across northern New England this morning with some flooding there. But we'll get these weak disturbances, a little popcorn effect of scattered showers to spotty showers and thunderstorms the next couple of days, get into 2 or 3 days of heat and humidity, and then flush the atmosphere out, what we call retrograde, the ridge back west of the Missouri and actually towards the divide. So that should allow for a far more comfortable air mass to settle in here the middle and late portions of next week. 67 now at Willard and Savoy, 68 Rantoul, 69 at Danville. Still some flood watches in effect up towards the Kankakee and as far south as Iroquois County with runoff there in mind. And there are a couple of showers generally along and north of I-80. Those will slowly settle southward. Maybe a stray shower north of Champaign later this morning, a stray shower thunderstorm late this afternoon, and this evening time. We'll see afternoon temperatures with a partly sunny sky and light wind top out around 83, down tonight to 66. And again, little lesser chance for a late morning or afternoon shower thunderstorm tomorrow, partly sunny, 86. Another bubble up thunderstorm chance Saturday afternoon at 88. Here come the low 90s Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. But late Tuesday, Wednesday, cool front will come through the area. A couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms and far more comfortable weather with daytime readings in the lower 80s next Thursday and Friday. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting in Butyrosis, Greg Soldier.
All right, thank you, sir. It is the 11th of July. Johnny's youngest, Bethany's birthday today.
Aww.
Johnny always used to say, oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven.
Nice.
All right, it's 8:09. I'm Stevie Jay. That would be Diane Ducey.
Good morning. You're going to be on your own tomorrow and Monday because we're taking a big sibling weekend. I'm the youngest of 6 Duceys from Tolono, and we're celebrating number 70 for my brother Gary tomorrow, and we'll all be at the Cub Card game in Bush.
Could anybody, I'm serious, could anybody beat Gary Ducey at thumb wrestling?
I'm telling you, Gary
Why isn't he
fit.
at CrossFit?
Because he CrossFits every day.
No, but he could be in the open competition.
I mean, people that do construction, he's working circles around these
Why doesn't he?
people.
You understand you can win money and earn stuff and medals in CrossFit at that age.
Really?
He probably dominates. If he probably banged up too, though. He probably has stuff that he is shoulder, knee. I mean,
he's got some keys to success. He's a beekeeper as a hobby, and he loves that honey, and that natural honey can really do good things for
Gary
you.
Ducey, age 70.
He takes a hot tub practically every night. And he's got a pool at the house where
he's physically
do the Nestea plunge.
Unbelievable that he's still doing concrete work.
I know
70.
it. I know it.
Impressive, Gary. Impressive. All right, in tabloid news, how about this? Remember Huma Abedin?
Abedin.
She was buddies with Hillary, worked with Hillary,
Yes.
and that Anthony Weiner stuff came out.
I remember
Huma
now.
Abedin is engaged.
Okay. Boy, I just
you gotta wait on it.
HU, and it came up on top. This should be exciting.
She's engaged to Alex Soros.
Oh no,
George's son, who's a bazillionaire. They could be the next first couple of the United States could buy the presidency.
Yeah.
How many billions are they? They're way richer than the Pritzkers, I'm sure. So there's your tabloid.
She's 47.
Yeah. Well, he's 37, I thought.
Okay.
He's a younger man.
Okay.
Okay, it is 8:11, so sorting out what is difficult to sort out. This is a massive press conference with Joe Biden. If he looks lost today, So give him the Adderall, kick it up a notch, make sure he knows where to go when he's done.
I mean, do you have like a guide then of people's pictures and their name?
I don't think they can risk that. They got cameras everywhere, and they're going to be watching for that. He's got to go out cold and answer the questions. He can't look lost or confused or anything. Then when he's done, he needs to confidently walk to the exit and not look back or wander. Wandering is bad. Remember when the Easter Bunny several years ago was on the lot and kind of grabbed his arm because they had to have somebody.
That's right.
So I guess it's out of season to Easter Bunny, but could the Easter Bunny possibly make a return?
And
hi, kids!
President Obama was a guide a few times.
Guide his arm out. Maybe Joe could be there.
Maybe they just need to get giant arrows on the carpet.
No, you can't.
And a big X
press
for
will
where you're
see
standing.
Press will see it. I mean, you got to do it without them saying he needs that.
How about the velvet ropes, and just have that one
stanchion? Follow the stanchions.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can't,
looks
stray.
official, but he knows where he's going.
Let's do that.
But when the worst ones was when he turned and hold his hand out to shake nobody's there.
Yeah.
That's been going on years, people.
I mean, I hate to say something because I know that this is just a few years away, essentially.
Well, listen, it's just
my family worries about me because I can't find my phone and keys so often, and they're worried about how this will look in a few years.
Well, we've all got those issues and concerns. So it is just something that the world is actually going to watch today, because if he does anything like the debate, it's just over. There's no way he can withstand the pressure. It's already pretty bad. But if he gets up there and looks like he did at State of the Union, you'll know he's on something because he's so different. But nobody's going to, drug test him or anything. And can you be tested for Adderall? Isn't that something to kind of get you fired up?
Yeah.
So you take that and you say, I'm staying and I'm not leaving, with that adamant tone that he can have. But the problem is there's no teleprompter. So you're kind of on your own there. So and it's hard to grab the words that he wants. And again, it's an aging issue. And he's got the most powerful job in the whole world, and it's right there. And he, until all of this happened, he had a reasonable chance to win still, because of the way the Democrats get the vote out. So now it's like, okay.
So supposedly he had a week to review when it came to the debate, and he had a staff to help prep. So on this situation, do you bring the cook and the maid or whoever, and everybody just shout at him all at once?
I don't think so.
Try to practice how this looks. It's been since November.
He's going to have a list, and he's going to call on them in order, because shouting isn't going to do anything. He'll smile. He won't hear a thing.
Okay.
I wouldn't hear a thing. It's just a chaos, and they're all wanting to show that I'm a reporter. Where's your MRI?
They might be
I want to see your
elbowing each other out.
Cognitive test. I mean, it won't be friendly because they've been embarrassed, or so they say. They knew, but you did nothing. Anyway, at 4:30 today is when the president steps to the
Is that something I should go to Piers, I wonder? 1609 West Springfield Avenue?
I don't think they'll have it on, but maybe they should. Boy, you'd be interested to hear the comments when they see.
Know, that might be kind of fun to
well, you see if they can
it in, like you do a sports game.
Tune it in. I don't think they'll have that.
I'm over here watching.
I want to see the presser, the press conference, and then hear the comments from when they see him. It won't be pretty.
I know.
Let's check your sports headlines.
Well, the Royals, are they pretty good?
Yeah, Royals are a playoff team. They're very good. They're better than the Cardinals.
Because
Royals are good.
The Cardinals had some momentum, and then we just hit this buzzsaw here.
Yeah, the Cardinals had a 3-0 lead, lost 6-4 in the first game, and then they lost the nightcap as well.
So 8-5 and then 6-4. When we had the Redbird recap, and they started talking about Whitey Herzog and how he
talk about the
this has got to be
honoring Whitey instead of the game.
And Whitey coached the Royals and the Cardinals, so it makes sense that he would get the nod. And I guess Ozzie Smith spoke, and it was a pretty good ceremony.
Yeah.
We also have the Cubs in action, taking down Baltimore.
How about that?
4-0.
Yesterday, before the series started, I told Kyle Tosk, I said, I think the Cubs probably time to sweep the Baltimore Orioles, which are one of the top teams.
Right.
And they've won 2, and if they win today, they win 3 and sweep them.
So what was Kyle's reaction to that?
Grumble.
I know. He's just a typical Cubs fan.
You
never take, if you have these wins against Baltimore, grumble.
Yeah, if you can go sweep the Cardinals, which is possible.
Okay.
You win this before the All-Star break with 6 straight wins, there'll be some hope in the second half. So
okay. Well, Justin Steele on the mound, and that game will be at 5:35 over on US 105.9. If you want to listen in as they wrap up that series, St. Louis Cardinals with the day off today as they gear up for the Cubs and Cardinals down in St. Louis. And when it comes to the Chicago White Sox and Minnesota Twins doubleheader yesterday, they split. I was looking up when the Olympics start because you and I were kicking that around, and it's July 26th through August 11th.
Okay.
And I know I looked up President Obama when it came to could he be vice president and some other things that were coming up, or where is Obama and all this support for Biden and things like that. We haven't heard much from that camp. And immediately came up the 50th anniversary of the Dream Team and, the U.S. Olympic men's basketball team. And I guess he gave this great 10-minute speech, and Steph Curry said he got goosebumps and, proud to be an American and represent and all that. So awesome.
Yeah, I wonder if the goosebumps would have been there if it was Donald Trump. I don't think so. I don't know what the players are, but I think most are probably on the Obama camp.
Yes.
So 10 minutes with those players would be fun. But by the way, there's no guarantee that we're going to win the gold in basketball anymore.
True.
Everybody's caught up. Back in the day, 50? It's not 50, since Dream Team was 1992.
Okay, so maybe this is the anniversary of when the team started to play.
They lost in 1970, was it 72 to Russia, which was totally a cheat. Doug, who was Doug Collins? Yeah, Doug Collins, Chris's dad, was on that team. And Russia took it out like 5 times in a row until they won.
50th anniversary party. Confident they'll win the gold in Paris, it says here. So it doesn't mention what the 50th anniversary is.
Well, look up the 72 Olympics and basketball, how Russia took the ball out it might be 3 times, and they finally made a last-second shot, something like that. It was totally got. Talk about your bad call. Okay, a series of bad calls in 72, but who remembers? Okay, that's 50 years ago, man. 52 years ago. Okay, we're going to check your weather. We'll come back with more. We're going to get Tim, our buddy, the pitmaster, on today.
Sounds good.
We're going to talk about corn on the cob on the grill.
Oh.
Ooh.
That sounds good.
It's going to be a quick roast, I would think. And also, you got to get it off at the right time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it'll burn. But that has a great flavor to it. He'll have some tips.
Yeah.
That will be coming up. 217-359-2255 if you want to text this on the Fisher National Bank text line. It is Thursday. This is July 11. We'll check Greg's weather and be right back. It is 7 7:19 in Denver, 8:19 in Champaign.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Central Illinois, Champaign, and vicinity. Things playing out as expected yesterday. A couple of late afternoon and evening scattered showers, thunderstorms, adding to the wet grounds and overtly wet grounds in some areas of East Central Illinois. Looks like we'll continue on with its hit and miss prospect over the next couple of days, build into heat and humidity over the course of the weekend, early next week, before a push of cooler, drier air settles in mid next week. Rain chance bumped up to 40% late morning and this afternoon in particular. Partly sunny skies, a little fog patch around early on this morning. Highs to 83, a lingering shower thunderstorm early on tonight down to 66, and a smaller chance for shower thunderstorm late morning and late afternoon tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny at 86. More humidity, maybe a thunderstorm Saturday afternoon, highs up to 88. Hot, humid weather for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday with lower 90s by day, low to mid 70s at night, maybe a thunderstorm late Tuesday into Wednesday. We see temperatures settling back into the lower 80s with drier air settling on into the second half of next week as well. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Prices eased last month. The Consumer Price Index declined 0.1% in June. Economists were expecting a small increase. For the year ending in June, the CPI rose 3%. Core CPI, excluding food and energy, rose less than expected, 0.1%, up 3.3% on an annual basis. Energy prices declined in June, though food prices rose. Also, fewer people filed for unemployment benefits last week. New claims declined by 17,000 to 222,000. PepsiCo's earnings were better than expected, but it's seeing softer sales after Pepsi raised prices. And Delta Airlines is dealing with high fuel costs, which cut into its profit in the recent quarter. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosola, invested in you.
Stay on top of the latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hands.
Here's the latest from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
That heat's going to be out there for one more day.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com.
When your pipes are in a pinch and your drains are feeling the strain, who do you call? The plumbing pros, of course. At Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, they're your reliable partners in all things plumbing. From leaky faucets to clogged drains, they can get any problem you have cleaned up and taken care of. Their licensed plumbers are on call 24/7, ready to swoop in and save the day whenever a plumbing emergency strikes. Don't let a plumbing problem ruin your day. Call at 217-841-4728 or visit them online at dogtownheatingandair.com. Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, your home's best friend.
Tapman's Towing, team of experienced tow professionals, is seeking others with CDLs, previous tow experience, and or strong interest in serving others. Please visit our career page at tapmanstowing.com.
BMW, Buick, GMC, Honda, and Subaru. Welcome to Sarah Champagne. We can handle all your car repairs on site, including paintless dent repair, bumpers, windshields, everything in between. We have an amazing selection of new or pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Shop from home and buy online or reserve your vehicle before it hits our website or dealership. Sarah Champagne is home of the Sarah One Price Promise, delivering an honest and transparent buying experience. Hurry in or shop online at sarahchampagne.com.
Illini pizza fans, Jets Pizza has been making the best pizza on the planet for 40 years. They've always been committed to quality, like hand-pressed dough, fresh mozzarella, and sauce made from Mama Jet's secret family recipe. All baked to perfection. It takes more work, but take one bite and you'll get it. Right now, enjoy 3 types of pepperoni with the new Triple-Roni Pizza for just $16.99. And this is a limited time deal, so visit jetspizza.com. And don't forget to flavorize your crust for free, like their famous Turbo Crust. Jets, better because it has to be.
This is Eric Bowen with Provident Financial Group. We are honored to be celebrating 15 years of service and want to thank all of our amazing clients for their confidence and trust. We look forward to meeting the needs of current and future clients in the years to come. Contact us today at 217-366-3456 or find us online at providentfinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Michaelis brings it home. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Have a cold one.
on the Cardinals. Don't miss Budweiser's first Beer Fridays at Busch Stadium. Tickets start at just $15 and include your first beer on the house. Each first Beer Friday ticket will be loaded with Cards Cash that can be used to purchase a Budweiser, Bud Light, Michelob Ultra, or any beverage of choice. For full details or to purchase tickets, visit cardinals.com/Friday.
This is Miles Michaelis. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com.
All right, ESPN 93.5. It is July 11. We have mentioned that a few times just to help me know what month I'm in. Sometimes I repeat things.
Yes.
And it's
and I feel like it's like the slower part of summer. But I'm telling you, I'm hearing about back to school, and you need to donate the supplies now, especially to those in need, so they can get those ducks in a row and hand them out. And, just trying to finish up a lot of things. I know Vacation Bible School in Tolono is going on. And
I thought that was in June. I thought all Bible schools were in Vacation Bible School. Okay.
Next week for the Presbyterians anyway. They're doing some stuff from 8 to 11 and some art and things like that. And I just feel like we're kind of in that mode of, dang, this is flying by. I need to get some stuff in.
White House is calling it a big boy press conference. I don't know why they would say that.
I saw that.
Why would you say that? Why would you say that? It indicates that your little boy is going to have a big boy. It just perceptually.
It's like I think of the big boy. Oh, you're wearing your big boy underwear today, Aiden. You're going from a pull-up to your big boy pants. There you go.
I think they're a mess right now.
I mean, don't put that out there for the world to see. Hello. We look like ding-dongs over here in America. What are we doing?
But here comes ABC News and the Washington Post to the rescue this morning, indicating that their most recent poll says this is a toss-up election, even after the debate. Okay.
I'm telling you, it's the people who just hate Trump.
Well, I know that.
They're just voting against Trump. I don't care who it is. It's not Trump.
There's nobody that would vote for Joe Biden if there were a choice for them. And you could vote for RFK Jr., but then they say, well, a vote for Robert Kennedy Jr. is a vote for Trump. So, yeah, there's no question. They're not voting for Biden. They're voting against Trump. I mean, that's what it was in 2020. So, I mean, there's no doubt. There's just not any support for Joe Biden. But the latest, both very liberal, ABC and Washington Post, indicates that if the election were today, it would be a coin flip, which I've not seen that on anything else. That's the first time I've ever seen it. Right now, Trump has a national lead on another poll of 6 points nationally. But all the states that you think were, toss-up states kind of thing, they're just 5-6 points on every single one of them. Not the Wisconsin, Michigans, Pennsylvanias. They're fairly close. But I think after the debate, unless there's some sort of recovery today, he has to just have a great day.
I just don't pay attention to anything when it comes to polls. I mean,
it's hard to tell.
Who are you talking to first?
Would you talk to somebody?
I'm not answering the phone if I don't recognize
But
the
if they do reach you, would you take a poll?
I mean, probably not.
I wouldn't.
I hardly ever take surveys. I just don't want to be bothered with anything.
You know
and
what?
How honest are you going to be? And then you'll be inundated with whatever after that of all this promotional material regarding blah, blah, blah subject.
Well, how many spam calls do you get a day?
Right.
I get like 10. So you're right. If they catch you, if they were to get me on the phone and say, hey, we're calling from ABC Washington Post, we want to do a poll on the presidency, I'd say no thank you. Why? Why would I say no thank you?
Right.
Because I would be marked.
Right.
If I said I'm voting for Trump, I don't want them to know. Because I believe there'd be retribution. They'd mark the thing and say, Trump voter, MAGA guy, he's got his, Bible, and he's a radical. Anyway, I don't want to be identified like that. From the standpoint of it's an unfair identification of who you are if you say you're voting for Donald Trump. They've made it that way. You can't ask about the election. You can't possibly bring up anything like that. You can't bring up that he's senile for Joe Biden because you're conspiracists. January 6th, you can't question that. You can't question climate change. You can't question anything, or you're one of them. That's the divide is that they don't accept anything but what they want you to believe.
And you need the whole agenda is something that you're buying into, and
you can't just accept and tolerate. Now you have to endorse. If you don't like boys playing on girls' basketball teams, you're some sort of bigot and radical.
Yeah.
And you have to not just say, okay, I'll tolerate whatever you do. You have to now hold the sign and advocate.
Right.
You have to be an endorser of it, or something's wrong, and I'll get in your face. Remember the montage of all the Democrats that said, get up in their face? Maxine Waters?
Yep.
But there were others that said, go get in the congressman's face. I mean, these people from the podium say that. And remember, half of us are half cocked anyway.
Yeah.
Mentally, we're struggling.
Oh, I know that.
So anything you say loosely to be a joke it's not heard as a joke.
Could be misinterpreted. And it could be that's the only 3 seconds of the soundbite that you hear, and you don't hear the 3 minutes before and after that made that 1 3-second soundbite sound right.
We're the greatest nation ever, but we have our issues. And today maybe a few more than normal. But we've gone through some pretty rough patches, and I believe we'll come through again. But there's some stuff going on. Not informing parents that an 8-year-old wants to change their sex is just, does that make any sense?
Right.
What are we doing?
217-359-2255. We always love hearing from you. I know Tony mentioned Attica, free the Danville emu. Have a great day, guys.
I don't know.
Is there an emu on the loose again? Remember when that happened? I think that was last summer that Anna and I spotted it when we were driving down 57.
How would you catch an emu?
That was the problem.
Well, you tranquilize them, I think.
Anyway.
All right, 8:30. We'll be right back.
Fox News, I'm Therese Crowley. President Biden toasting European leaders.
NATO.
With the world hanging on every word of a full-fledged Biden news conference this evening for signs of cognitive issues, a trio of Biden campaign officials trying to quell Senate Democrats' disarray after the first senator, Peter Welch, called on the president to step aside as the nominee, but not Senator John Fetterman telling Fox.
Joe Biden didn't have a great debate, but to me, I think that he's going to be our best. I think he already beat Trump, and I think this is our best opportunity to defeat Trump again.
But even possible Biden replacement Governor Gretchen Whitmer says a cognitive test isn't a bad idea. Inflation dropped unexpectedly 0.1% second month in a row. CPI shows inflation is 3%. America is listening to Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. A student involved in the pro-Palestinian protest on University of Illinois campus early this year charged with mob action after U of I police used social media to identify her. 18-year-old Yafa Isa of Savoy was charged with 1 count of mob action. It's a Class 4 felony. Demonstrators gathered to demand the U of I divest from companies involved with supplying weapons to Israel. Mother charged in a multi-vehicle crash last week on I-74 that took the life of her 8-year-old son. Stephanie Flores Ramirez faces 4 counts of aggravated DUI. That crash happened July 3rd. Between Bloomington and Downs, Raimundo Buccio Flores died later at the hospital. Champaign City Council did the process of drafting a new economic development manual. The current one went into effect in 2012 and ends this year. As part of the new manual, City Council looking at revising the redevelopment incentive program and implementing 3 small business assistance programs. You're up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign-Urbana this Saturday, and still these little weak disturbances. Plenty of low-level moisture and daytime heating, and still off to the races, as was the case yesterday with a couple of clusters of showers and thunderstorms, adding to some of these 2.5-day rain totals that are easily now in that 4 to almost 6-inch category. Plenty of wet grounds and standing water out there. We'll move into some heat and humidity briefly late in the weekend, early next week, before a push of cooler, drier air settles in from the north and west. Rain chance late this morning, more so this afternoon, bumped up to 40%, partly sunny, a little patchy fog and haze around early on this morning. 83 the expected high with light wind down tonight with an evening shower thunderstorm in a couple of spots to about 66 tomorrow, partly sunny in the afternoon, shower thunderstorm chance in the afternoon as well. Highs at 86, rubber stamp it for the day on Saturday, partly sunny, 88, rain chance there at 30%. Then heat and humidity Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, lower 90s by day, muggy 70s at night, cooler, drier air back into the 80s the second half of next week. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Soldier.
Okay, so my European producer David Lesney says the bird on the run has been caught after 2 years. The emu that had been on the run for 2 years has been caught, captured, and is on probation. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, the bird is, they used to say on the old WLS show, bird gonna be okay, Uncle Lair? Yeah, bird's gonna be okay. I don't know how you catch an emu. I think you have to tranquilize. It's my only thought.
Right.
But then you gotta. Yeah, emus are big.
I guess someone intentionally let them out in July of 2022. The cows stayed home, but 11 emus took off into the central Illinois jungle.
What's it? Emu look like a llama, or emu's like
It's kind of an ostrich-looking thing.
So an emu is like, ostriches can go 60 miles an hour.
Right.
So if an emu is anything like that, then good luck.
But here it says in 2023, the emu was spotted off I-74. And they were afraid it was going to cross the road and back up the traffic. And the emu outran all the troopers and things like that.
It does look like a big...
Like an ostrich.
Yeah, or a giant pheasant without the feathers. That kind of look. Okay, emu's story concluded.
Yes.
Thursday. And now, a brand new show called Smoke, where we help you with your grill and making the best meat ever. With award-winning competition pitmaster Tim Onstadt. Smoke in Tim's grill. He's the best brisket maker ever. Smoke in Tim's grill. And now award-winning competition pitmaster Tim Onstadt. Do you have any emus around your farm where you live, Tim?
I don't have an emu, but an emu is a big chicken, Stevie.
Right. Okay. I was just thinking.
It's lean meat. You can
Someone
smoke
like
it.
Tim
You
is
can
like,
grill
really?
it.
That's good eating right there.
Okay. I didn't know.
I don't when you say emu, I don't picture anything with feathers. I'm picturing a great big bird carcass.
So is it
ready to smoke.
kind of like a turkey? Good as a turkey? No.
It's leaner than turkey.
So maybe it's a thing.
They're sold commercially for the meat.
I see.
Well, I'll be darned. I didn't even know
Maybe
that.
we should start an emu farm over here
there
in
you
Philo.
go. Boom.
Hey, happy 7-Eleven Day. Get your big gulp.
Yeah.
there's
There's free Slurpees
Yeah.
today, supposedly.
Oh.
Wow.
We had the guy that was the CEO of 7-Eleven on last week.
Yeah, that's right.
Former CEO of Blockbuster.
I had a
and
text
7-Eleven.
in already, Tim, saying there's a barbecue cook-off in Watsika for amateurs only.
Well, you're a pro, aren't you?
Oh, not really. I mean, I could slip in.
You could dominate. Come on, man.
That's
Let's go to Watsika. Let's go to Watsika, man.
I was told yesterday there's one in Monticello and it's invite only, and I wasn't invited.
Excuse me? Excuse me? They don't want you to come because you'll dominate Bob and Carol, who've been doing it for so long. Yeah, don't bring in a ringer.
Exactly.
It's Tim Onstadt. He is the man at Gale Ferrex Trucking and dedicated diesel, home of the Dixie Chopper. So corn on the cob, do you smoke that? Can I grill it? How do you do corn on the cob?
Oh, grill it. A long time ago, I happened by they have a corn festival in Hoopeston, I guess,
Yeah.
and they were roasting corn in a big roaster.
Yep.
But I've heard of and seen guys doing it on the grill, and just like to pass on a treat that is really nice, and it's good. And how to do corn on your grill. Just get some sweet corn, peel the husks back to within an inch or two of the bottom, and then remove all the silk.
Yep.
Pull that all off, get all the little hairs out, and then put the husks back on it. Get you a cooler of ice water, or you can do it in your kitchen sink, and soak it for 30 to 45 minutes. While that's going, that's enough time to run out and mow your yard with your Dixie chopper.
That's exactly right. Quick, boom, done. Yep.
Yep. Unless you get like me, when I got faster at mowing the yard, Donna decided to plant a bunch of stuff for me to mow around. And I can still do it faster, but now there's more things to mow around. With those zero-turn mowers.
Yeah, you got zero turn, you can still stay on it. So
yard furniture. But you soak it and then drain and shake off the excess water. And that's important because by soaking it in the cold water and getting those kernels cold, you stop the sugars in the corn, the tasty part, you stop that from turning into starch.
Huh.
That's the science behind it. Then you just coat your grill grates with olive oil, or a spray oil like Pam for grilling.
Yeah.
Grill them directly over medium to medium-high heat for about 15 to 20 minutes until it's tender. Then pull them off, open them up, brush on melted butter. We like to use the Tony Cheshires Cajun seasoning on it. A lot of people just use salt. And the butter is important, too. We use Kerrygold unsalted Irish butter. We're adding salt to it anyway with the seasonings we're putting on it, so we don't need salted butter. That's not good for your heart.
So I'm going to peel them back, get the silk off, and then soak them for 40 minutes in like cold water in the sink or whatever, bucket, whatever, and then I shake it off, and then do I put like the cover back on it?
Yeah, you put the husk back on it.
Okay, back on it, and then grill it like that, 15 minutes or so, medium to high heat, and then put your Cheshire stuff on it before you grill it, or before?
No, after you grill it, you'll roll it or brush it down with butter, and then put your seasonings on so it'll stick.
That sounds quite easy as it goes.
I'm making this tonight. This sounds awesome.
I don't have sweet corn.
No, but I'm going to get it, and I've seen it in the stores.
Yeah, but is it from Dirk Rice?
I know.
Tom Kane? I mean, where are you getting your sweet corn?
Right here in Champaign County.
You got to get the stuff right here. If you get great sweet corn, we got such great sweet corn around here. All right, that's pretty simple. So
Diane, you got my number. You can call me if you have any questions.
All right. I want to hear a full report on how that is, but you got to get it right, or it's going to get too done or not enough, and it's not tender enough. How do you gauge that?
Well, you can peel back the husk just to see if it's getting a little. But you just want a little bit of color on it. You don't want it black burnt.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But if you're checking it after 15 minutes and it needs another 5, you're still fine.
All right. It's Tim Onstadt. Great tip on the pitmaster extraordinaire, best brisket maker in the world, best ever. It's Tim Onstadt. All right. So Gail Frericks Trucking, could you use some regional drivers?
Yeah, we've got a couple of spots for regional drivers, and right now we're starting a push to pick up some of those regional drivers that may want to be home a little more in the fall, whether they got kids playing football or whatever. We've got 4 spots for grain haulers in the fall, and of course those are going to go, first pick of those will go to guys that are on a regional group. So if you want to be around home and drive in the fall and haul grain, get on board now. $4,000 sign-on bonus, $1,200 a week guaranteed, and that will carry through to the fall on the hauling the grain. We've got 4 of those spots open, and just give me a call at 765-793-7131 or email me at timo@gftlog.com.
How about my Dixie Chopper? Got any deals?
Yeah, I was in one of the farm stores yesterday. I won't say their name, but their initials are Rural King. And I saw a Husky Varna mower for $6,500 zero turn. And I guarantee I can get you on a Dixie Chopper, the king of zero turn mowers, much better quality for at least $1,000 less.
And plus, you service it.
Yes, Andy and Jeremy will service them right there in Urbana and take care of you.
Walk through
Financing is available.
Yeah, walk through that process of getting a new Dixie Chopper.
You go in and see Andy, and he'll lay it out for you, the prices. There is financing available. There are various discounts for first responders, veterans. It goes on and on. But, we'll get you in one, get the right price. Andy will take care of it.
Tim Onstadt, we appreciate having you on. Good man, good family. Let's go. Thank you.
Love you guys. Have a great day.
Talk to you soon. That's my friend Tim Onstadt, Yale Frericks Trucking and Dixie Chopper. Dedicated diesel.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 8:43. A check of sports headlines. One more Greg Solier meteorological kind of forecast all coming up.
Urbana's Market at the Square has been cultivating a vibrant scene in CU since 1979. Get to know your farmers bringing locally harvested honey, crafts, jewelry, art, fresh cut flowers, plus produce including fresh leafy greens and root vegetables, fresh baked treats, and a wide selection of proteins. Going on now, every Saturday, 7 a.m. till noon, rain or shine at Illinois and Vine, it's Urbana Market at the Square. Find Urbana Market on Facebook or urbanamarket.org.
Why use Lands Underground Solutions? We have the team, the technology, the tools, and the most experienced team in the industry. From a basic sewer pipe repair to replacing a sewer main, installing a water line to installing a septic system, installing underground utilities for a new construction project to rehabilitating the old pipes under a school. Lands has the most versatile and experienced team in the industry. Residential, commercial, and industrial, when it comes to your underground pipes, think Lands Underground Solutions. Why call anyone else?
The Champaign County Fair is July 19th through the 27th. When it comes to some premier events at the Champaign County Fairgrounds in Urbana, it starts out with the preview night, July 19th. Enjoy the dirt track racing. The first Saturday of the fair, enjoy Military Day and, of course, the Demolition Derby. Western Day will wrap up that first weekend on Sunday with a terrific spotlight on horses. Learn more about the Champaign County Fair at champaigncountyfair.cc.
All right, 8:45 sports headlines.
I'm just clicking around about Illini Nation. Torrey Cox Jr. adds experience to the Illini DB room. So I guess
This is what I mean. I have no idea. The football's harder because we don't know anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It might be the best guy ever. I don't know what our football team is going to look like, but I'm going to find out August 29. That's when we play Eastern Illinois, and we barely beat Toledo, who was a very good team, by the way.
Right.
I think they went 11-1. Their only loss was us, and we barely beat them. So I just would like a game where we're not having to sweat it in the fourth quarter. We need to win this one in Central Michigan at homecoming for sure, and then somehow eke out a victory against Kansas. If we're able to do that, I believe we're a bowl team at 3-0. That would be huge. But Kansas beat me by 30 last year in Lawrence, so I don't know. So.
College football season unofficially starts in 2 weeks with the Big Ten Media Days in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
What?
2 weeks? Wow.
And so our Illinois athletic director, Josh Whitman, has been talking about, the upcoming season. We're knocking on the door of things that we want to do. We understand there's margins between victory and defeat that can sometimes be very small. We're looking actively to try to ensure we're doing everything we can to identify those opportunities and change those losses to wins. And we know the difference of what can make that trajectory of the program. So EIU, August 29th, 8 o'clock. Let's go.
Yeah.
Go Illini.
Go.
ILL.
That's how
Brett Bielema drops his mic.
Good to be on with you guys, ILO. Illini. You feel awkward if you don't complete it.
I know it.
Reporters
and
don't.
by the time you complete it, he's done.
Yeah, but
he's hung up.
Reporters don't repeat it because they're covering it, and it feels like they're Fandy kind of guy.
I mean, then the person back in the studio can say, "Hi, way to go, coach," or whatever.
Yeah.
Boy, we're seeing a lot of shifts in our sports world these days as far as reporting locally. It's interesting to me.
Yeah, okay. Apparently, the Joe Biden press conference has been moved down to 5:30.
Oh, really?
The NATO schedule is going long. This is not good for him because it stretches his day longer. I would think he's real good at 4:30 and probably fading beginning at 5:30. He goes to bed at 8, I think. Anyway, yeah, FYI, 5:30 for Joe Biden Central Time.
By the way, Kansas City defeated St. Louis in the doubleheader yesterday. Chicago White Sox and Minnesota Twins split. Cubs beat the Baltimore Orioles 4-0, and they've got a 5:35 start over on US 105.9.
All right, check your weather with Greg coming up.
What is most important to you in your life? This is Eric Boland with Provident Financial Group. Whether you're launching a career, raising a family, planning for retirement, or creating a legacy, we can help. At Provident, we provide strategic thinking and perspective that help clients like you realize their goals. Contact us today at 217-366-3456 or find us online at providentfinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
Tapman's Towing reminds all Illini fans, when you're on the road and see lights flashing, move over and use caution passing. Let's all get home safe tonight.
All right, meteorologist Greg Solier, we had 4 inches of rain officially in Champaign and Urbana, a little less for some of the outlying communities. That's what we've got. What's ahead, Mr. Meteorologist?
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Central Illinois, Champaign, and Van vicinity. Things playing out as expected yesterday. A couple of late afternoon and evening scattered showers, thunderstorms, adding to the wet grounds and overtly wet grounds in some areas of East Central Illinois. Looks like we'll continue on with this hit and miss prospect over the next couple of days, build into heat and humidity over the course of the weekend, early next week, before a push of cooler, drier air settles in mid next week. Rain chance bumped up to 40% late morning and this afternoon in particular. Partly sunny skies, a little fog patch around early on this morning. Highs to 83, a lingering shower and thunderstorm early on tonight down to 66, and a smaller chance for shower and thunderstorm late morning and late afternoon tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny at 86. More humidity, maybe a thunderstorm Saturday afternoon, highs up to 88. Hot, humid weather for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday with lower 90s by day, low to mid 70s at night, maybe a thunderstorm late Tuesday into Wednesday. We see temperatures settling back into the lower 80s with drier air settling on into the second half of next week as well. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, meteorologist Greg Solier.
Well, will you watch the Olympics?
I guess.
Will you watch the Olympics? I mean, it's one of those you turn on the TV and you see something, you kind of stay with it for a minute.
Right.
I don't know. Will you watch?
I was sticking with the diving and swimming when they were qualifying in Indianapolis. I thought that was interesting.
It was good. Yeah. They did unbelievable. I watched 10 minutes.
Right.
And I said, oh, you made too big a splash. You lose. You can't make a splash on the dive.
I was watching the high dive at Crystal Lake Park in Urbana, and we have a really good diver. I was like, dude.
One person?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, every time he got up there, everybody like turned and looked.
Speedo?
Yeah.
Okay, then he's a diver. Probably getting some free practice.
I think he is.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but like flips?
But I'm standing on the edge
like flips,
going,
or are you just diving?
Should I back off? Should I maybe I won't do this. How far down will I go?
Oh, too far.
Will I be able to like hold my breath long enough? What if it takes me forever to get, I'm standing on the edge.
How deep is that well down there?
People are going,
high dive well.
Hurry up already.
You went off the high dive?
Yeah. But it took me 3 minutes to jump because I was contemplating. I'm one of those.
I wouldn't have done it. Good for you.
Anyway.
I wouldn't have done it. Anyway, yeah, the well there is probably 12 feet.
I would think.
At least. And so the diver was doing flips?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. So
and a teeny tiny little splash.
Ooh.
It was good.
Probably the gold medalist. He didn't know he's from Germany or something.
Maybe.
Didn't identify here for classes
An
or
exchange
something.
student here or something.
Well, that's cool. Fun.
And they have this area where you make like a whirlpool and everybody in there, me and all the kids. I was the only adult, I think.
What are you doing going
around and around and around in this whirlpool area, and then you stop, and then it carries you.
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah,
that's a cool little feature.
Kind of a wave thing.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering why you're going off the high dive.
I mean, every once in a while.
I got you.
It's been like a year
too
or
high.
two.
I would go off the low one, but I wouldn't.
And I'd done it in Tuscola before too.
Oh, good for you. I wouldn't do it. I remember when I was 10 years old, we were in Europe. 11 years old, we were in Europe, and there was a platform so high that you could see the outline of the whole pool. And we walked up there and walked right back down.
Oh, man, I would not do that.
Well, a friend of ours jumped off the thing, but he was in the air a long time.
Wow.
I have no idea why it was so big.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, it would be nutty. And then we were somewhere, it was in Milwaukee. No, it was in Door County. And they had a park in Door County that was, nobody really took care of it as far as responsibility. I'm really confused how it works. It's a county-run park, but they had some sinkholes, and they had cliffs where you could frankly fall off. I was really confused. We had kids jumping into this area where there were rocks, And it was probably, 15 feet. It wasn't crazy.
But still,
there's nobody around.
That seems dangerous.
Sounds like a liability waiting to happen, too, in this litigious society. Anyway, it was beautiful, but people jumping off cliffs and doing those things.
Yeah.
Jumping off high dives at Crystal Lake. No. No.
I remember when Gene Ducey took us to the World of Concrete convention in Las Vegas, and we stayed at Caesar's Palace, and they had a nice pool, and all the ladies were lined up in their chairs and stuff, sunbathing, and Dad did like a cannonball, and everybody got wet. They were all mad at him.
I think if only we had iPhones back in the day, that would have been still viral.
That is in my head from being like 10 years old.
Because Gene Ducey was not a small man.
That's
his
the last time. That's the last time I've seen him in swim trunks.
That would have been a minute ago.
Because all the ladies were like brushing themselves off.
Nothing like a large man doing a cannonball intentionally. Nothing like that. That's just golden.
Go ahead, Dad.
All right. Tomorrow is Friday. We'll conclude our week and we'll get together and gather. The boys are on this afternoon. It'll be Kyle Toski, Derek Piper today. Stand by after 3 with all the... Kyle must be in a good mood today because the Cubs beat the Orioles again.
I suspect he'll still grumble about something. He is a true Cubs fan.
Here come the Cubs. All right. Thanks, Diane.
Enjoy the day.
I'm Stevie Jay. Thanks for listening. Have a great Thursday.
Here's another home improvement insight from Kramer Siding and Window. New roofing and siding are a winning combination that can instantly change the look, feel, and function of your home. Our Kramer Siding and Window team takes pride in being an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred contractor, able to offer a best-in-the-business 50-year warranty. Pair it with preservation siding in your favorite style and color, and your home will be a showstopper. Start today and save 10% on roofing and 25% on siding. Call us, click on kramersiding.com, or visit the showroom in Champaign.
Better banking experiences start with local people and local decision making. Hi, this is Ryan Heiser, President and CEO of Fisher National Bank. We are a locally owned community bank that has served the area since 1955. Fisher National is rooted in the communities we serve. We pride ourselves on providing financial resources that match or better the mega banks. We are your friends and neighbors who are involved in your communities and take a vested interest in seeing our customers thrive and prosper. Offering a line of rewarding consumer-centric deposits, home mortgages, small business banking, and agricultural lending. There are no compromises banking local with Fisher National. Our convenient online and mobile tools are second to none. We'll work hard to meet your financial needs and earn your trust. Learn more about Fisher National at fishernational.com or stop by one of our branches. Our team looks forward to serving you.
Fisher National Bank. Exceptional communities, exceptional people. Member FDIC.
I'm Justin Ike, co-owner of Fred's Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning, Electric, and Underground.
So, Justin, tell me what you see as typical when it comes to sewer repair. Give me a scenario.
Your sewer's backed up and somebody comes along and says, you need this repair for X amount of dollars. Here's my price. And you don't think to go looking for another company or a second opinion because you don't feel like you have time.
So is it possible that you might get charged a little more because it's kind of a desperate moment? Do some companies do that?
Oh, absolutely they will. They know you're in a pinch. Typically, if you call us, me or Will can be out there within an hour to look at that problem for you. Whether you call me first or you call me second, make sure you give me a call.
Anything else, Justin?
You can always trust Fred's.
Great to know. Thank you. That's Justin Ike, the co-owner of Fred's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, Electric, and Underground. If you want more information about this great 45-year family-owned company, just go to fredscu.com. That's fredscu.com. Matt Rogowitz is our law enforcement official of the month. He is currently the University of Illinois Police Department Officer of the Year. Why did you want to go into this work?
The reason why I wanted to go into policing was probably due to my family. Father's in the military. My uncle is a police officer in Louisiana. So it's always been a big part of my life, being a first responder within my family members.
Okay, and you're physically fit, and that's a big part of your regime. Do you try to stay in great shape? Does that really help from the standpoint, not only just physically that you're kind of imposing looking, but mentally? mentally?
It helps physically and mentally.
Yeah.
It plays a big role at work, and I like to share my experiences with my coworkers as well. So I think that helps mentally as a team. So working out, helping them work out as well.
And so when you are on a call, does the adrenaline start going, or depends on the situation? How's that work?
It does depend on the situation. Your adrenaline does get going. It just depends what call you're going to, but always trying to remain calm is your key component there, and then just responding and then providing that support to everybody that you're able to.
If you're in the market for a new car battery, you could go to one of those big box stores, except there's no guarantee you'll be served by an actual car expert.
Clean up in aisle 3.
You could pick a battery off the shelf, except it might be close to expiring. Or you could just come into Interstate. Don't make a big box store blunder. With competitive prices and a more personal, reliable approach, Interstate Batteries is the clear-cut choice if you want to guarantee yourself a new and trustworthy car battery. They're open and ready to serve you at 2504 North Mattis Avenue in Champaign.
At Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery, we're flooring people with amazing service, great design advice, and unbeatable selection and the best prices in town. It's the perfect time to update your home with waterproof flooring, carpet, hardwood, tile, and more. Then complete your rooms by shopping our incredible selection of furniture and accessories. We also offer great financing options. Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery, we're flooring people.
From computer systems to brakes and tires too, at PDR, fixing cars is what they do. Remember, when you turn the key and the car won't run, call 367-9481 or use their dedicated text-only line at 383-0619. Additional information including repair quotes and online scheduling requests available from the website at pdrauto.com. Remember, they are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR. This is WSJK Tuscaloosa.